How you going, guys? Curtis from Cutting Edge Engineering. Today is going to be part 2 of our 789 hoist barrel rebuild. So if you missed part 1 where we disassembled the old barrel and got the head flange welded onto the new barrel, there'll be a link in the description below. So now we're going to get it set back up in the lathe. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to face the head flange level with the barrel. Although the barrel is only protruding it just a little bit, it is best to have flat surfaces when you do have a component that bolts onto it. Otherwise, putting excess tension on a fastener can actually break the part you're bolting onto it. Now that we've got that done, we're going to set it up so we can turn down the OD. So we're starting off with an outside diameter of 375 mil. I am going to remove 10 mil off it, bringing it down to 365 because that is the size they come out from factory. While it's still set up in the lathe, I'm going to move the tailstock chuck in out of the way, and then I'm going to part 20 mil off the end to bring it to length. Righto guys, so that is all the machining work done on our new cylinder barrel. Now I'm going to get it out of the lathe and go set up the honing machine. So to hone out the barrel, we're going to be using our Sunnen Horizontal hone. It is a HTA-4100. If you want to see a video when that machine arrived and we put it together, there'll be a link in the description below. Before I set up the barrel, I do need to set the chain vices to the correct height in order for the barrel to sit central to the spindle. $33 mil. So when we power on the hone, it does need to have its spindle sent to its home position before you can put in any of the parameters. Now that the machine has found home, I'm going to set the parameters of the barrel. That is the inside dimension that it's going to finish out at and the length of it. Now with that done, we're going to set up our tooling. I am using an AN290 stone support, which has a range from 11 to 15 inches. We're also going to be installing our master holders, which hold our honing stones. And the stones we're going to start with, they are W47 A25s. They are a very soft stone, but they are really good for taking out any high spots. And we'll be using 3 other grades of stones, 2 for roughing and 1 for finishing. So now all we need to do is set our end strokes for our start and stop positions, and also set our stops for our limit switch. On the console, I'm turning on the coolant, which is actually the oil, and that helps lubricate the stones and cut material. There we go. Straight up, there's going to be a tight spot where I welded on the head flange. It is common for those areas to shrink. This has shrunk quite a lot because of the diameter of the barrel and how much heat input there was in that area. So what I'm going to do is work the honing head in that tight spot using the dwell feature on the console, or I can do it using the joystick. And that is just to work that area down to the same level as the rest of the barrel. So I also use the scale on the console, and it will tell me if there's any tight spots while I'm honing. There will be a spike, which means there is a lot of torque being applied to the honing head. A goal when honing with this machine is to get that scale to an even torque value. That tells me that the barrel is running nice and true and there aren't any tight spots. So the scale has stopped spiking. We've worked out that tight area in the welded zone, which means now we can work the entire length of the barrel. So I'm just going to run this first set of stones all the way down. So those stones are worn out. We're going to change over to our 47s. They are a much harder stone and they're going to put up with a lot of punishment and take out any more of those high spots that the 25s didn't get. So with my experience, I've learnt to know generally how long stones are going to last and how many honing cycles I can do before I need to change them. But one of the other senses that is used in honing is hearing, and I will hear changes in the cutting pitch when the guides and the stones are wearing out. So those stones have done their job, the barrel is nice and even the entire length. Now we're going to change over to our 45s. They're not as hard as the 47s, but they are for roughing. So we're going to put a few sets of those stones through to take out a mil of material, and we're pretty much going to hone it to size using the 45s. So that's our third set of 45s worn out. We're going to throw one more set in just to take out that last 0.2 of a mil. So while I'm taking measurements through the roughing stage, I do use my cheaper dial bore gauge set. The Sunnen bore gauge is very expensive and I don't want to accidentally damage that, so I only use that when I'm at the final stages. So our bore gauge is reading, we've got about 0.25 of a mil to remove out of the ID of the barrel. Hopefully this will be our last set of roughing stones, then we can move on to our finishing stones.
Okay, bye.
So those stones are completely worn out. We got our money's worth out of those. It seems that the last 0.1 of a mil does take the longest to do, and that is because you are stopping and measuring and then restarting. And it's very important to do that because if you don't, you're probably going to overcut the barrel. And now our barrel is measuring 0.02 off its finished size, which is less than a thou, so we're going to put in our finishing stones. So we've changed out our stones, but we also have to change the parameters in the machine in order for it to do its finish honing. We simply go into the run cycle, select finishing, and that will enable the 60-degree cross-hatching. That will do all the calculations for the rotation speed and the feed rate, and then we simply press go and let it do its cut. Righto, so we've got our honing completed. We pretty much got that measurement spot on. It is well within its tolerance. One thing with the Sunnen honing machines, especially the HTA series, if you don't home the drive head all the way up that end before turning it off, it takes about 10 minutes for it to actually crank itself all the way home when you do turn it on in the morning. So while I've got the stroking motor disabled, I'm going to push it pretty much all the way home, leave about 100 mil there. That way when I go to start this thing up again, I don't have to wait for it to go all the way back over there. I'm going to let this drain overnight and come back to it in the morning.
Oh my god! Let's go! Go!
Righto guys, so the barrel is nice and clean. I'm really happy with the surface finish in there, and the cross hatching came out perfect. Honing out a mill of material, it does take some time, but it's not really worth setting up to try and bore it, and that's when things can sort of become a problem. If you accidentally over bore it, you end up scrapping the barrel. Now with all the honing done, we need to fit our barrel end, but to do that I need to set the barrel up back in the lathe. So before I put the barrel end on, I am going to transfer my alignment line from the head flange down to the end of the barrel, so it's easier to match up my alignment marks. So trying to push the barrel end in with the tailstock, it is a little bit tight. I don't want to break the tailstock. I have given it a few taps with a hammer and it's just not moving nicely. So I'm going to apply a little bit of heat to get that barrel to expand a little bit, and then I can use the tailstock to push it home. So now that's in place, I'm going to tack it in position. Last thing I need to do while it's set up in the lathe, I need to remove the block that had the center drilled into it and then drill a center into the end of the barrel. So I'm doing that now at the end of the job, not when I first got the barrel set up. And the reason for that is when you use a grinder, there is a lot of abrasive dust getting around because it is airborne. If I did that when I first started the job, I would have to clean down the machine. Because I do it at the end of the job, I can take the barrel out and clean the machine without it interrupting or interfering with my work. So now we can get this out of the lathe and go get it set up for welding. Righto guys, so that's our 789 hoist barrel completed. There is a lot of work in a job like this, but it still works out less than half the price of a new one. So that's it for this job. Let's get it back to the customer. Thanks for watching. Going nowhere. You ready?
Yes, commence.
Before we set up the barrel, I do need to adjust the height of the... Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck me. How do I start? Fuck, how did you say that? And the honing stones we're going to be using, they are... what the fuck are they? So we're going to run a suit... so we're going to... it is great... fuck. Wait, what? Oh, fuck, where are we going after that? I can't see shit. So now we're going to put in our 45s. They are great for roughing out.
No.
Fuck off, train. So we've got .2... Oh, fuck off, bird.
It ain't the bird's fault, eh?
That's Bob.
Here we go. That's his new spot. Oh, and his friend.
You out there?
He's on the crane.
Really?
Yep. Oh, here he comes. Come on. The hopping is so cute. What's all the fluff on? He's been in cobwebs, eating spiders. Cockatoo. Whoa. You need help. Oh my god. Let's just take the plastic. Hold on. Oh, hang on. Hang on, don't eat the ladder. What are you doing down there? Hey, what you got? Bring it here. Come on. Is that your mess? Hey? Hey, homie.